Throw a pair. Just take it and move on. Yo, Fluffs, what's up? It's good to see you guys. Thank you all for coming. I'm glad you could make it. Vicky, good to see you. Do you have PJ Cruikshank?
Oh, good. That's still fine. Jesus still loves us.
Hey, man. Michael Korn, what's up, Peter Italian? How you guys doing? And we are live, I think. Yo, Fluffs, what's up? It's good to see you all. Tonight's going to be a very triggersome stream for some people. We've already been having some triggered numpties like Sean Hawkins coming in.
You know, Fletcher, both you and Dave are just...
Get out of my pocket!
You are too much of a coward.
And Craig, if you feed the fallacy king.
You stupid woman.
That's gonna be an interesting one tonight. Yo, Fluffs, what's up? It's good to see you all. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you could make it. It's going to be a special one tonight. It's good to see you guys. We have Michael Kahn, Dave Sorensol, and PJ Cruikshank, and a new guy, overqualified Globetard. Good to see you guys.
Yo.
Hope you're all doing
Good
well.
to be here, man. Good to be here as usual. Oh, by the way, guys, that's fine. Jesus still loves us.
Amen.
Yeah,
What's up, what's up, Qualified? It's
Hi.
good to see you, man.
Thanks.
Yeah. So,
What's that say? Overqualified Globetard?
yeah, he named
Yeah.
himself, though.
I like it.
It's
That's
a specific
classic.
profession.
This is a confession.
Well, it's good to see you, man. So you say you're new to the whole flat earth thing?
Not really, no. I've been probably half a year now, so I've got a good idea of what the whole thing's about.
Okay, that's cool. Well, it's good to see you. If you want to chime in with anything, just let us know if you want to present or just you
Yeah,
don't
sure
agree
thing,
with
yeah.
anything. Yeah. But it's good to have you here, man. Okay, so I'm going to say hi to everybody in the YouTube lands. Thank you all for coming. Glad to have you all. Too much people to say hello to, but it's good to see you guys. And we do have a poll going, 30 votes already. Anger because of inner demons. Yes, 27%, no, 40%, and could be 33%. So yeah, guys, hit the likes, share the show. Let's get the show out to a wider audience. So tonight, we don't really have a theme. It's more or less we're just going to maybe chat about why do people get so triggered. Obviously, we might chat about how with Brenda's argument, where Brenda got angry because I called Brenda a man, which Brenda is. So, but that was about it. And then I was thinking we might talk about Mattoon when he gets triggered when someone asks him something, or practically everybody. I mean, I can show maybe 4 or 5 different Globers when they debate, they get triggered and leave the stream. Why is that? It's like some weird thing happening.
It's a feelings thing, isn't it? You know, like some people are emotionally invested in that paradigm.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think on a rudimentary level with a lot of people, you got to think about this, right? They're indoctrinated with this at a very, very young age. You know, they even have the little thing about my very eager mother, you know, to remember the names of the planets, and you make the little styrofoam thing and you get all kinds of kudos. You're told you're smart. Adults say, well, wow, Billy, that's really nice. You're a really smart young man. You'll probably be an astronaut or something one day, or president of the United States. You know, they're given all these kudos for knowing this when they're not really understanding. They don't know this. They've only been told this and regurgitated it back in a very exact way, and even with a model and everything else like that. So they're told they're smart for that. Yeah. And when you take that away from them, when you say, no, none of that was true, you're taking away their smart. They don't even realize that that's what's being done. And that's why I think one of the reasons is because that programming age And all of that involved, this is why many of them will revert back to a mental maturity age, very reflective of when the lie was introduced and concreted into their belief system. Because they do. I mean, I've literally had them use the I'm rubber, you're glue argument. You know, I'm not kidding. They get to that point.
And it's weird as well because what I learned at school, obviously, while I was at school, I was told it was important, but as I got into my later 20s and that, I suppose, I realised that pretty much what I learned at school was disposable. Get rid of it, you know? It wasn't, I mean, apart from your basics, obviously, your maths, English, that kind of thing. Obviously, you need it to a certain extent, but what they teach you about history, the earth, social studies, all that kind of stuff, I think it was all wrong. Religious studies as well.
It's programming. It's what we call the education system is actually an indoctrination system.
Yeah.
You see, because even up to and including, and I don't know what they do over in y'all's country, but here in the United States, they have everybody first thing in the morning. They come out and they go face the flag, put their hand over their heart, and do the Pledge of Allegiance. You know, and when you first learn the Pledge of Allegiance, I can remember it when I was a little kid. When you first learn to recite the Pledge of Allegiance, you get all kinds of kudos from adults. It's like, oh, what a patriotic young man. Boy, he's really smart. That's also part of it. The rewarding if you go against what's being presented to you, you are given a lesser grade. You're treated with less favorability, and up to and including back in the day when they'd make the kid wear a dunce cap and let the other kids make fun of him for not being like everyone else. This fear of not believing the consensus. So it's easier, people find, to go with the flow rather than to swim against the stream. In my opinion, the only thing that goes with the flow is dead fish and shit. You know, so question everything.
True.
I mean, one of the things about this is, you've got the whole education system, but that doesn't dictate how you feel about certain things. You know, you can learn these things, but you can also think your own way about these things. It's not about indoctrinating. I mean, let's just switch this around. Say, everyone learns the Earth is flat. Now that's indoctrination. Like, where does it stop?
Yeah, but we're the minority. We've come out of indoctrination. You know.
Remember, we were all brought up believing it's a globe. It's not like the indoctrination wouldn't be from the flat Earth side; it'd be from the globe side. Because as soon as a baby gets introduced to something, even on television, it's pushed as a globe.
Yeah.
If you go to a music festival, it's got something to do with the globe. They watch cartoons, it's pushing a globe. I mean, I can show you a few episodes I can show you a few episodes of maybe Peppa Pig, where they're busy having a picnic, and all of a sudden they climb on a rocket and go to the moon. What has that got to do with the picnic? Absolutely nothing.
Right.
And in general, cartoons as well are really like the kids' cartoons that they're watching. Even when I was young, if I look back at the cartoons, Donald Duck and all that, all the symbology in Disney stuff is unbelievable. There's Masonic things in Donald Duck, and there's hidden words, all that kind of stuff. It's lots of like adult themes made to look like children's stuff. Yeah?
Let me just ask you a quick question. What's the earliest class grade? How old were you, or about what grade was it? What's the earliest one you can remember? I'm asking you, the globe guy.
What's the question again?
What is the earliest classroom that you remember in your education? You went through a graduated education system where you went from kindergarten to first grade to second grade, I assume. What was the very first classroom you remember? How old were you?
Probably 6.
Okay. Was there a globe in that classroom?
Not that I remember, no.
Okay. In ours, I do remember.
I mean, I think it's probably different in America. I assume it's like I never really saw anything related to the globe until we started learning about the planets and whatever. I think that was year 5, so probably.
Yeah, I remember having atlases on the wall and globes and all that. Definitely.
Yeah, I remember seeing globes and that, but I don't remember like getting a lot of heliocentrism forced on you, though. You know?
No, but there was a
Remember
globe.
it,
My
like-
point being, there was like in my kindergarten class, I clearly remember there was a globe because the teacher was always hollering at this one kid for always going up and spinning it real fast.
I do
Now,
remember.
we didn't learn world geography
Mm.
in kindergarten, but there was a globe in that classroom. Why?
Yeah. I do remember when I was in primary 3, which is what I'm about 7, 8 year old, and Halley's Comet, Halley's Comet came past. There was a big deal made out of Halley's Comet. Definitely a big deal made out of that. And that was probably the earliest thing I remember to do anything to do with, I suppose, the cosmos at all. You know, when I was
But
in
I-
primary 3.
like,
So
when
3
you
years.
have
When you were
realizing
just saying, though, you know, talking about flat Earth here and that and the other, that would be indoctrination. However, where did you come to the idea that you lived on a spinning ball? Did you come to that idea on your own, or was you like walking along one day and say, you know, based on my experience and observation, I must be on a ball, or were you told that?
I mean, the awkward thing is when it comes to refraction and seeing too far.
I
Sort of
didn't
thing.
ask you that. I ask you, was it your idea? And then someone went ahead and, you know, agreed with it, or was the idea given to you? Were you told that you live on a globe, or did you say, hey, I think I live on a globe, and somebody else says, yeah, you do?
Yeah.
Which scenario happened? It had
It
to
was
be
given-
one or the other. You either came to it on your own or someone told it to you.
Well, this. Oh god. I'd say given to me. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not just about that though. It's about, you know, if things that you observe correlates to what you've been taught.
But
And
do
I
you
haven't seen
think that?
anything.
Do you think though that if you had never been told that, do you think you would have ever come to that conclusion on your own? And if so, why?
Because I wouldn't. I would have looked up at the sky and thought the sky was moving. If I wasn't told that it was us allegedly that was moving, I would have thought that the sky was moving. You don't feel the earth moving. You don't feel. You observe the sky moving. So I wouldn't see how anybody would come to the conclusion it's a globe just by observation alone.
Or even experience?
Or
Well, you see, the
indoctrination.
thing that catches me
That's
though is let's put it let's look at it this way. On all the globe claims, what is verifiable?
Elevation angles to Polaris.
So flat Earth then.
yeah. How you doing, Matt?
No, but look at it this way. If you guys claim a globe and you want to bring up any subject for the globe that's wise evidence for a globe, what would be your validation for that claim? Because it's faith-based. On my whole thing about the globe is just faith-based. There's claimed there's Earth rotation. It can't be observed. There's claimed we have gravity, which is not validatable. Nobody even knows what gravity is. And there's a claim of Earth curve, which when it's put to the test, it shows not to be physical because it's always changing due to optical effects.
I mean, I'm yet to receive an answer on how there's the Southern Cross. You know, you've got
Oh, yeah, what
Polaris
about-
and then you've got the Southern Cross. So I'm still yet to get an answer to
What's the question on that? Then I can try and answer it.
how is it that the Southern Cross is stuck in one single position, and no matter where you go on the Southern Hemisphere, you still see that Southern Cross. Do a time lapse, and it's in one spot.
Actually, it moves. It moves across the sky, the Southern Cross. The thing is, you're thinking of Sigma Octantis, just like Polaris would be in its polar orbit and everything moves around it. The Southern Cross still moves around. So it's Sigma Octantis. But yeah, you can only see the Southern Cross in the Southern Hemisphere, and you can only see Polaris in the Northern Hemisphere. But that's just due to position, though. That's still stars moving. That's got nothing to do with Earth
Yeah, Fletch, you
rotating
got
or
some
being
good-
a sphere. Yeah, I was going to say, Godzilla37, thank you very much for your 5 membership gifts. Really appreciate it, man.
Why
Oh,
is
no,
it?
Sean Walken's got a gift.
Oh wow!
What, can I just
No.
ask you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I just ask
Thank you
a
very much,
question?
man.
Why is it when we're trying to understand shape of land that we dwell atop, are we always resorting to things in the sky?
Yeah, exactly.
Not really. I mean, it just gets a bit awkward when flat earthers deny the claims that are made for the globe side.
Deny
And
what
I don't think
claims?
it's really.
Like, name a claim that it irritates you.
Name a claim, and we'll tell you why we deny it.
Maybe give you a explanation. Maybe you're not understanding it.
I mean, I understand what's being said, but I understand that it's.
Rich,
No, I mean conceptually.
before we move on, what actually are we saying as flat earthers? Can you tell us what actually is being said?
Yeah, still man, the flat earth position. How's that?
Yeah.
I mean, the most common one is about the horizon, where it's due to perspective, and you've got the vanishing line sort of thing. But the problem is,
But is that
I mean-
the flat? Is that why we're flat earthers? Like, because I'm under opinion that we're flat earthers because we say we don't live on a ball.
Mm.
We can talk
Yeah,
about
but-
horizons and all other stuff after, but the
Yeah.
ultimate thing is you think you live on a spinning ball in space. We don't. We think Earth's flat.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I
the
mean
horizon-
that's where the horizon comes into that, because you just think that it goes into this point
Vanishing
where they're just yeah.
We can explain it. We've actually explained it many times. It's actually many optical features, but the whole crux of the argument is the globe claims the horizon's physical. Okay, where every single demonstration observation in history shows we don't have a physical horizon. Even by definition, it's only optical.
It's not even defined as
Yeah.
physical. It's an apparent.
Exactly.
As if-
Apparent meeting of the sky to the ground or sea, whatever, you know.
It's a phenomenon of how we see.
Thing that happens is that everything compresses, right? You're going to see the ground is going to appear to get higher. Does it really get higher? No, it doesn't. But it'll come up relative to eye level. Now, what's happened is from your feet to that horizon point, or where the ground seems to meet the sky, your field of view, you've had a field of view that has been full the whole way. But now at that horizon line, your field of view is compromised by the horizon. And anything that moves away as it gets smaller in angular size, just appearance, right? It's going to do that it's going to appear to do that from the bottom up, because that portion of your field of view is compromised. That's all. It's just the same thing as looking across the fence line and moving away.
Yeah.
It's no different. It's just that your field of view is compromised by the horizon. The horizon is not physical, because once you establish what appears to be that horizon, and you see a distant object on it that appears to disappear bottom up, if you increase your elevation, you increase your field of view, you'll see actually more horizon beyond the object that seemed to disappear over the horizon. It didn't. Your field of view is compromised. That's all. Now, everything's going to end up getting to a point where you're no longer going to be able to see it, just due to angular resolution, whether you use optics or not. Other factors involved are Atmos opacity. This is why you can get such a clearer picture at a higher altitude and see farther, is because we're down here on the ground where most of the soup is at. Okay. So here, this photograph right here was taken in the dark at nighttime from a high altitude toward the sun. Look at there. We can see the sun, and it has absolutely changed in size from what we normally see. What's that?
Also have to remember, the higher you go up, the more further you see, the more atmos you're looking through. So there's more clouds, and there's more fog, there's more water vapor, there's more air. So it gets, the opacity gets less, and that's why you see it doesn't have a sharpness anymore the further higher you go up. And that's why it seems to have that visible, almost like a curve, but it's not actually. It's just your vision of field is limited to that 360-degree radius, and it's the whole way around, and that makes a sphere of vision around you. And that's equated to Earth curve. But in the meantime, it's just visual equality, I could say. Does that make sense?
The thing is, you can use cameras zoom in, like flat earthers do that all the time. But
you're
it's
not
not
going
like,
to increase your field of view because you're still in the same location. Your field of view is still compromised.
You're magnifying that same angle that's already there.
Yeah.
But the one thing that's always said is you can't see a bolt far in the distance. You zoom in, or you can see it again.
Yeah,
so
that's due to refraction.
There's a point where it's no longer there, and it's not anything to do with the atmosphere. If anything,
it's not just exclusively. Let me show you something right now. Can I cover my whole face with my thumb? No, I can't. But look what happens due to perspective. Look at, I'm covering my entire face with my thumb. How am I doing that? So my point being is that a wave in the foreground, and you're magnifying everything, even when you use a zoom lens, you're magnifying everything. A small wave in the foreground can obstruct a large portion of, or even the entire object in the distance, as I just showed you with my thumb. See here, my thumb is only thumb size next to my face, but when it's closer to you, it's obstructing. It's obstructing. I haven't changed anything. The size of my thumb is the same, size of my face is the same, but it's due to perspective. And so you can have like a 3-foot wave in the foreground obstruct a 250-foot object in the 25 miles away. It's very easy to do.
The thing is, no matter how far away the wave is, it's still lower to you, so it's not obstructing anything.
I have not changed. I'll keep it right at the same level.
It doesn't matter.
I'm not raising it. I'm not lowering it. I'm going.
You must
straight
remember.
up.
Yeah, you must remember when his thumb's growing angular size bigger, even if it's lower. Okay, let's say it's lower, like it's still getting bigger. You see, still getting bigger. It's lower.
Yeah, that's replicating a wave that's as tall as you.
But this is also just on short distance. Now think about over an ocean stuff. You got things like refraction. You got magnification because of the atmosphere. You got water vapor. You got everything that's going to cause a lensing effect. Even so, just like you guys say, refraction causes something to look higher. It's caused that angle that's closer to you to look higher. And that's why it looks like it's blocked. I mean, we got demonstrations where we can add refraction and make something look like it becomes curved, becomes opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think one of the things we don't really realize is how much is being put into all this research around refractive qualities and stuff like that. We just make our thoughts around really basic stuff, really. We just don't look into how much is done in the background. We just, flat earthers just dismiss it all, I think.
No, that's the thing. It's not dismissing. The problem is you guys have hijacked optical phenomena and called it physical. So we haven't just handwave dismissed it. We are able to demonstrate this in everyday life.
Can I just ask a question? Yeah. What have you done to prove to yourself that you live on a ball?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done anything myself.
Exactly. So you're questioning us on what we do and what we don't know, and you've done nothing yourself. You believe you live on a ball because you've been told. You've not been out there and checked to see whether you can see curvature, check whether you can see boats going over this supposed physical horizon. You've not done any on it.
And if we don't personally do anything,
hold on, you haven't finished, mate.
Okay. Sorry, dude.
But you come in here and you say you flat earthers, you don't know what's going on, you don't know this, you deny that, you've done nothing, mate. So you're in no better position, and you're not really coming from a position where you should be talking to us in that way.
And if we, sorry, Michael, I thought you'd finish. And if we haven't done anything personally, in general, flat earthers know someone personally that go out and do stuff, then give and do observations and put their stuff on the internet and give good reasons for it and all that kind of stuff. You know, if we don't do it personally, we know people that do.
And I mean, I'm a person that likes to demonstrate things in real life.
Yeah.
So if I want to make a claim, I go and demonstrate it because that's how I am. I like to validate things. This comes back to
how do you know that you've done the experiments correctly?
What do you mean? Let's put this. The claim is you can't replicate things getting bar obstruction on flat surfaces. Yet me and myself and many flat earthers have replicated this using refraction, using limited angle, just using camera angles, using just how things work optically. We've been able to demonstrate this. Yet the globe side has never, ever demonstrated any of their claims because all the excuses we get is globe too big, scale. That's it.
And it's not just one experiment. Flat says to replicate it. It has to be able to repeat it. You know, if it doesn't repeat and if it repeats and you don't get the same answer, it's just something wrong. So it's got to be replicated.
They're not experiments either. They're observations.
Observations in general, yeah.
So check this out, right? We know that the train tracks on this is, of course, is a drawing, but it's pretty accurate to show what we're talking about. You see the train tracks are not actually getting narrower. They stay the same width apart, but see how they converge together? They'll come to a point in the distance, right? And we know that those telephone poles that hold those wires, we know those telephone poles are all the same height, but they appear to get shorter and shorter, as do the lines look like they're coming down to the ground, but they're not. They're at the same height up above the ground all the way down the tracks. Well, the whole thing is converging right to left, left to right, up to down, down to up. That's just how your vision works. That's how angular resolution is with your optics, okay? If you increase your field of view, you'll see further. And how do you increase your field of view? You gain elevation. Now, if the Earth was a curve, we would see the horizon drop as we rose in elevation, but instead it remains relative to eye level, just below eye level, all the time, no matter where you go.
Yeah, but like I say, there's a lot of different things you have to take into account. It's not just one simple thing. Do you understand how diffraction limit works?
Yeah, wait, are we just talking about when the atmosphere disperses the lights and everything gets fuzzy and you can't see any further?
Yeah, but diffraction limit is based on what's resolvable and what's not. So let's, for instance, take, how am I going to put this? Imagine you're looking out the ocean. The ocean is closest to your eyes because you're standing here and you're looking outwards. You'd agree? So it's one large angle. Now the boat is a small object on that large angle away. So that object, that boat, the bottom of the boat and the whole boat itself is becoming smaller with angular size as it's moving the distance. But the ocean's not changing angular size. It's staying the same angular size. So due to diffraction, the larger angle is going to be more resolvable than the smaller angle. And that's why you see the bottom of the boats disappear first, because your eyes or your camera, whatever, is more resolving that larger angle, the water, while the ship's going out in the distance. And that's why you see bottom of obstruction. Now, yes, you get those times where it's limited to, you can zoom in and you still don't see the bottom of the ship. But that's the whole point. It's gotten to that point where it is no longer resolvable because it's at a limited angle. That angle is limited. So you got that little wave or little swell or something that is now occulting it due to foreshortening. So you can zoom in as much as you want. You can't see through that wave. It's not meaning an Earth curve. It's just foreshortened due to
Yeah.
the angle that's limited. And I've
Like,
actually done a demonstration on this as well.
Yeah, like you can see perspective in my room, like above me. It looks like the ceiling above me is wider than the ceiling behind me. Do you know what I mean? Which it's not. But you can imagine if this was a longer room, the ceiling would come down relative to eye level, and the floor would come up relative to eye level, and anything on that horizon point converges.
Thank you, Turret. He's been a member for 1 month. He says, thanks for the late night shows, guys. I really appreciate your guys' support. All the members, everybody that supports the show, you guys are awesome.
Could you
Okay, if you don't
explain
understand-
foreshortening?
Okay, yeah. Foreshortening is just simply a larger angle seeming to occult a smaller angle at a distance. So like stop doing. If you're pushing your hand out, your hand's not actually that big.
No.
But because of the angle and the angular size, it appears to occult your face. It's not physically occulting your face. It just seems so because of the angle and how big it has become in angular size.
Yeah. Your position, the angle of it, and all that.
Yeah. So that's why when you see like a little small wave and you got something moving about, it appears to be bigger in angular size. I've actually got a demonstration for you.
Oh yeah, sometimes it looks like that thing would be in rough seas. You'd think that those people are being tossed around by the size of the wave because you see them disappear and come back, disappear, and it's just because of a little wave in the foreground.
And you have to also understand parallax. So when something's further away, it's going to appear to move slower than something that's closer. So if they take a video of like a ship far away, it seems like it's disappearing a long way. In the meantime, it's just gone down below a swell or something. But because it's so far away, it takes longer to get out of that swell to appear to us. While the waves in front here move much faster.
So when it comes to the sun, does it get closer to you after dawn? Does it get closer to you?
The sun just moves into position above you and moves away. Yeah. But because you have magnification due to the atmosphere and everything, it also does seem to help keep its angular size constant. But you do get the days where you're able to see the angular size change.
It's just on a circuit. It's just on a
Here's
circuit.
the thing is when something's already pretty far from you, it's hard to see a change in angular size. I'm gonna kind of demonstrate that. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna pull me up full screen if you can, and I'm gonna turn off my background just for a second so it doesn't glitch out. All right. So you can see my hand appears to change size drastically, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm only taking it back to my face and putting it out at arm's length. Now watch what happens when I move way the fuck on back here. Okay, now I'm already far away from you. Now,
where you going, Dave?
Now do you see there's not very much change in the angular size of my hand at all, as opposed to when it was closer to you.
That's well demonstrated.
It's already far away from you, and it goes because of your perspective out of your range of your sight. You won't see much angular change, angular size change.
That was well demonstrated, actually, Dave. I never even thought of that. That's quite simple.
Yeah. But look, this is what I was trying to explain with the foreshortening, with the force perspective. This has got to do with the with how the angles are getting limited due to the sun moving away. I demonstrated this in a spray booth. Obviously, the sun is higher here, and the paint cans are just going to represent a mountain or something, or a wave in the distance. So you're just giving the closest to do as the position gets further away, it appears to drop lower. Note that it's actually exactly the same altitude. It's not changing physically dropping. It's only appearing to drop further. Can you see now the front paint can? Even though it's lower than the light, it's occulted now by the light because of our angle between us and the light band. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to show you. See, so it just drops due to the compression of the angle. Yeah. So when I'm going to rise in elevation, I'm going to be able to see the light again. See, it's still exactly the same elevation. And that's all I was trying to show, just to show that you do have the angles getting limited. And because every gets further away, obviously this was a very short distance. If I wanted to do it in a much greater distance, then I wouldn't need to really use something so high compared to my camera. But it was just to make the point on things get limited due to distance, and the sun drops down to the horizon due to perspective, not because it physically is.
That's a good demonstration. as
Richard
well.
Ball.
The amount of people who said you had a curved floor.
Yeah. Apparently, a spray booth with concrete floor is curved.
Oh, dear.
Richard Ball, thank you very much for your $5 super chat. He says, Mary Poppins described ballers in just one word: super fragilistic ditzy baller S8. Wow. Thank you very much for the super chat, man. You are awesome, Richard Ball. Appreciate it. I must say, the baller we got on tonight is very cordial, and he seems to be very calm. So I appreciate you, man. We don't get this much.
No, we don't.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So did that demonstration make sense to you?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
You want to share as well?
You're thinking something. Yeah, we get like that too.
See what happened? You see what's happening there? Red's Rhetoric likes to use this picture a lot, but he only shows it for a second because he doesn't want you to notice what's going on here. There's a mirroring effect happening right here. Do you see this tree is reflected down?
Mm-hmm.
Right here, this tree right here is reflected down. This is reflected down. These are reflections of these windows.
Yeah.
Right? And look at here, what is going on with the size? There's a bunch of giants live down here, and then there's little floors up above it. Is that what we're seeing? So that's some distortion that you can get heavy duty. There's that same line as you change your perspective on it. That's that same line where it's at. Boom, 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 boom.
But do you notice the compression as well? Closer to the bottom. Usually where there's the most refraction is most compression. I wish I can find that old video by, remember, Red Bull Philosophy when he did that lighthouse observation of his.
Yeah.
That was really awesome because there it showed it perfectly.
What about that one? I can't remember. Is it Don't Fear the Truth or somebody with that torch on that lake?
Good tone or what?
Is it Don't Fear the Truth or is it somebody else?
I know Pitch Lumen likes to show you stuff. It's Good Tone or whatever his name is. Any other questions you got for us, mate?
Well, with the images that you were showing just then, like when you zoom into like things in the horizon and things that have been distorted, obviously that's just due to all these slight distortions. You're magnifying those, so it's going to make things, like the black swan thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Is at a distance it wouldn't look very much that way, but because you're zooming in, you're magnifying that distortion, and
Can you explain what the black swan argument is?
But it's basically that it's seen much further than you should be able to. I mean, that's
the
basically
horizon further out than it's meant to be on a ball, definitely. Yeah. I'm surprised you never came out with weirdly crane arms, but that's a first.
That's what I would expect in bendy cranes.
Yeah.
Who does?
Yeah, no, fair play to him.
Well, the thing is with Earth curvature, you can there's like this. I'll see if I can find it. It's like this massive area where there's water that goes over several kilometers, and the whole place is built in a way that it follows the curvature, and it has to follow.
I know what you're talking about. It's got to do with the water for the modeling.
It's that what Mr. Sensible likes to use.
Mm.
I know exactly, but you know that it doesn't
Because
follow
that's-
curve of the Earth.
And it's the same when it comes to bridges as well. They're made in a way where the pillars that stand up
Suspension.
angled
Horizontal
away
bridge.
from each other very slightly, but
The
perpendicular
horizontal
to the
bridge.
water.
Sorry, but the people have been putting wool over your eyes. We actually spoke about this last night again.
Yeah, we did.
The Verrazano Bridge, they claim because it's tilted a bit to the top. It's built that way because it's a tension bridge. If you understand your physics, to have tension, you have to have it leaning because it needs to pull tension on the rope. And that's how the bridge actually keeps its rigidity.
Otherwise,
Is the tension.
They just fold in.
So it needs to be curved that way. Let me see if I can quickly get that that thing with the curved water you're talking about. It's actually just for modeling boats, but
Yeah.
the rails are built, they say, to keep with the Earth's curvature. But I'll show you why it's not actually Earth's curvature. If I can get it quickly.
In architecture, hence the name, from arch is the strongest architectural structure that we have. And so many times bridges are built with an arch in them for strength and for clearance, not for curvature. And you have to think about it. Some of these bridges, you put that, is that it would have to be bigger than 8 inches per mile squared of curvature because it's trying to follow it's got to go concentric with the Earth, right? You realize that on a globe, a flight from Los Angeles to New York at 35,000 feet would be a longer distance than it would be on the ground. Do you know why? Because the arc that's concentric to it above it is going to be a longer line in order to stay consistent with the globe. The higher an airplane flew, the farther distance it would have to go between 2 points.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it was this one. So I'm just trying to find, because I want to get that exact citation. I think they spoke about it on this one. Because I had it, I just can't remember where I put it.
Like for me though, like biggest thing that you want to think about is there any Earth curve or not? Is it measurable or not? And so far, I've been around for like 8-9 years now, and I've not seen any curve when I've been out looking myself. I've not been presented any curve. There's no measurements for it. So all these things we talk about and lights in the sky and whatever all happen on a flat Earth if you can't prove any curvature.
There's calculations. There's no measurements.
Oh, man. Where did I put it? I can't remember. I'm trying to think, what's the name? I can't remember what's the name, guys, but I'm looking for it. So you guys can go on. Because you know what gets us a lot is gas pressure containment.
Yeah.
What are you looking for? Flat stat? Yeah,
citation of that
the curved water.
There's a specific word in there that I need to.
Yes, Vicky. He certainly, she certainly, it certainly is.
Just to kind of show you what I'm talking about here.
5 minutes, me.
Here's what I was talking about with the airplanes. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the ground, right? This inner thing is the ground. Up here is the flight. Now, of course, it's not to scale, but it's to exemplify the point. Between here and here is a much shorter line than it is between here and here, right?
Yeah.
So the higher an airplane would have to flew, the longer distance it would have to go between 2 points.
Yeah. If it's following the curve of the Earth, then it would have that distance to
It would
go.
have to follow the
Distance
curve of
where
the
it
Earth.
is. Yeah.
So that means that the curvature of a bridge should exceed 8 inches per mile squared. But it should mathematically work out to be from what it should be at that height.
Mm.
As if the Earth were now maybe 60 feet bigger in radius.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, but I'm just a dumb flurfer. I wouldn't know anything.
Of course not. So. Yeah. It's not like you do your own show full of information and stuff like that, you know? Full of the truth.
No, I have never really thought about these things. Come on, man. That's what comes when you start questioning these little things like that. You mean to tell me that a couple billionaires went down only to a slight pressure differential compared to what space would be on, right? They just went down to go see the Titanic. The pressure differential between down there and here at sea level, okay, compared to here at sea level to 10 to the negative 11 torr, 10 to the negative 17 torr, what's going to happen to a vessel that has a skin only as thick as a couple sheets of aluminum foil? What's that going to do? That's going to puff up and explode. Why? Because that air inside wants to equalize badly.
The problem is, like gas pressure like that is always exaggerated.
What do you mean? It's demonstrable, man. It's demonstrable.
I mean, these rockets that go up and
look, they don't even have to take it down to about 8 pounds per square inch inside of a railway tanker car in order to cause the little bit of 14.7 psi to crush that tank.
Okay.
It only has to go down to about 8.5, 8.25 psi inside in order for the outside atmosphere to crush a rail tanker car.
Yeah,
that's not much of a differential. That's not even half.
Yeah. So anyway, it was the tow tank. What we're seeing here is this tow tank that you're talking about, where they test the model boats that they say they built the tow tank to conform to Earth's curvature.
Yeah.
Does that look curved to you?
Yeah, it certainly doesn't. Since learning about flat Earth, is there nothing about the heliocentrism that
okay, but I want to say, okay, but I just want to finish on this point quickly.
Go for it.
I think it's supposed to be a half a mile long or something, or 800 meters long. How much curve should you see in 800 meters?
It won't be much because that's the thing. The world is massive.
Mm-hmm.
The curve's not going to appear. You won't be able to see it on your own.
Yeah, but you see the key here is they built these. It's called a flat base wave. So all these little things are separate flat-based horizontals, and they sit and they sort of go like this to give the same type of waves we see in observation. And that's why they built a very certain way. Now, the people are trying to say, oh, you see, it follows Earth's curve because it's following a structure that they had to put in, which is, I think it came up to like 5 millimeter difference. But that's because they needed it that way to build the waves in a certain way to move, because this is testing the holes and everything of a ship. and model ship.
If you just look at light reflections in that water, though, you know, there's no curve to that.
No curve to it. No,
If
exactly.
there were any,
Yeah, but
any
it would
slight
be
bit
too-
of curve on that, none of them reflections would be straight lines.
But
No,
even to
the
be
thing-
fair on that, even if it was to be curved and go that short distance, it wouldn't be visible. It would be too small. To be fair.
But wouldn't they shorten slightly more than that? If there's some type of curve in it, wouldn't it shorten? They would shorten a little, surely.
It would be measurable, and there's no measurable
Measurable.
curve. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. But yeah, the gas pressure out containment is the thing that really gets us, because there is no demonstration for gas pressure out containment. We always get the people telling us, but if you take a fish tank, which is a container, stick in sulfur hexafluoride or something, and it will just stay there indefinitely. No, it won't, because we can show demonstrations where you have to put a lid over it to keep that sulfur hexafluoride in there, because eventually it will disperse. Because if you know anything about if you know anything about entropy, you'd understand there's a thing called arrow of time. I don't know if you've heard of that before. Arrow of time.
I haven't heard of that. No.
There's a big problem with sulfur hexafluoride. It's
Mhm.
apparently a greenhouse gas.
Oh, no.
But the arrow of time is just simply, it's a dedicated time given for dispersion. So something that's less dense, the arrow of time will be shorter because it disperses quicker than something that's denser. So for instance, if you get a pool of CO2, it takes longer to disperse into the surrounding system than, let's say, helium, because it's denser. So it takes longer. It takes more energy to be able to disperse.
Yeah.
But the
I mean,
the
a lot
issue
of this
is,
is a
but,
lot
uh,
of
but
this
the
is.
issue, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, I
A
get
lot of
it.
this is just due to thinking of very small scale in comparison to planetary scale. You can't compare the two.
It's too
But you
big.
see that. But you
That's
see,
what she said.
remember what I said in the beginning. The
That's
globe always
false, though.
claims invalidatability.
Yeah,
So when we
false,
can
though.
demonstrate, we can demonstrate that gas can't be held down indefinitely, especially if you were to stick it in a vacuum. It will, no matter how dense the gas is, it will disperse instantaneously. That's why I have the Joule's free expansion of gas, because it goes entropy when it comes to that. It has no energy exchange, no temperature exchange. It just literally just expands freely. I can actually show you a demonstration where they take bromine into a vacuum and it's instantaneously moving into that free space
Yeah.
with no energy change whatsoever.
Yeah. Just
Let me see if
entropy.
I can get it for you.
So you don't question anything since knowing about flat Earth. Do you question anything in heliocentrism? Do you not question anything about space, the globe, anything like that?
I think
know
when
this
it
is-
comes, I think when it comes to thinking of space and everything about that, I don't really have a reason to take it at face value.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I know this is a lot of things for somebody to take into straight away. It's things people have to go back and actually look at and understand. That's why we say the flat earthers actually look into this stuff. It's not like we just make things up as we go. We've actually
It mentioned Earth too biggie.
Yeah.
You're claiming boats are getting hidden by this Earth curve at like a couple of miles out
Yeah.
from shore. You know what I mean? So like, we get this a lot. Like you can like Lake Pontchartrain. The claim that's a photograph of Earth curvature, but if that were the case, Earth would be like really, really small.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you get ballers will say, well, Earth's too big, we don't see this. Like you'll get them say Earth's too big. It's only degrees of curve. You're not going to see it with your eyes. But yeah, then you're claiming boats are getting hidden by it. You know what I mean? So there's a contradiction there to start with. You know, like Earth really ain't that big.
Yeah.
Do you know how big Earth is?
I don't know the numbers off by head.
It's about 23,000 in diameter, 23,
24,000.
nearly 24,000 mile in diameter, aren't they? Allegedly.
Circumference.
Sorry, circumference, not diameter. Circumference.
Yeah. Okay, but quickly watch this. That's what I say. We're able to demonstrate our claims. The globe isn't. That's the whole point.
One of these bulbs, some bromine, and in the other, I have a vacuum. And if I open the tap between these two, you will see spontaneously the bromine rush from one to the other. Now that is the simplest change we can have, perhaps, because all that happens is a change in entropy. In this case, the expansion into a vacuum, nothing else is involved. There's no energy change, there's no temperature change, there's no change except entropy. So without the entropy
Yeah, bromine is quite heavy as well. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, even if you have to turn the other way around, it's still gonna rush up.
Yeah, and like Michael was saying about, you allegedly see the curve at 3 mile, boats start going over the horizon at 3-ish mile, but your x-axis, you don't see any curvature, and that's, I don't know how many miles that is, but there's a lot of mile there. There's a lot more than 3 mile in your peripheral that you see that's just a horizon that's horizontal. You don't see any curvature on that x-axis. I think it's your x-axis, yeah.
I just think that saying you can't see curvature is really dismissive of the whole thing.
Yeah, but that's the argument we get from the Glober side, though. They say we can't see it because Earth's too big.
Yeah.
But yet want to claim we can see it when ships go over the horizon, and then we can say, but we can demonstrate ships going over the horizon is only optical.
Yeah.
And then they say, no, that's not true, and then they fight for refraction, which means it's optical.
Can't have it both ways, man.
Yeah. You can't.
What do you mean by that?
Well, you can't say you see a ship go over a curve when you're the grand poobah of the globe Earth says that even up as high as Felix Baumgartner from the Red Bull jump went, that you can't see any curvature from that high. And that was, I think, what was it, 150,000 feet they claim it?
Something like that.
Something like that? 100.
Edge of space.
So how can you see a ship go over the curve of the Earth when you can't even see it? Look at this photograph that I got right here, where I'm at, right here, 121,000 feet, bro.
Wow.
Where's the curve? You have to have a distorted lens in order to do curvature. And what's interesting, watch that Baumgartner jump. As he's coming down, you'll see the Earth turn from a globe to flat to a bowl, and then back again.
Yeah,
like even the what's it, that zenith sticker or whatever on there changes.
Yeah. with one camera, you see the shot outside the window and the horizon is flat. But then on the other camera, it's a fisheye lens, and it's all. They made that mistake as well of using a normal camera, but you can see the horizon straight, and then when he jumps out, you've got the camera where it goes concave, convex, horizontal, all over the place. You know.
Here's another one. Here's another thing to consider too. If you think that NASA spacesuits work,
wow,
why can't they go ahead and just use them to go down in the Marianas Trench?
Yeah.
Should work both ways.
No.
Why?
Well, actually, yeah, because they pressurize in the suits for minimum pressure, so it can't expand as much, which is really idiotic anyway, because it's cloth breathes, doesn't matter how much layers you put on, and Mariana's Trench is pushing down on it, so it's opposite pressure.
If they're in a pressurized suit in space, they should be like Michelin Man. They won't be able to bend their arms and that.
Yeah, even minimum.
Yet they show us footage of like an astronaut moving the whole helmet.
I've been down like 45, 50 feet with an air tank, with an aqua lung, right? And let out just a little tiny bubble of air.
Oh,
And
makes
by
a
the
difference.
time it gets to the surface, that thing's this big. Just a little tiny bubble. You see that thing start expanding. I'm only down about between 35, 50 feet, somewhere in that vicinity. You see noticeable difference in that bubble going up, man.
Gosh.
We went and got a buddy of mine, his speedboat sank. The idiot left the bilge pump open, the plug, and it
There you go,
sunk.
straight and right.
And we ended up we went down and put a couple of inner tubes on it, and they were totally deflated, and we tied them onto the boat, and we just put a little bit of air into those inner tubes, and it started lifting that boat up off the bottom. And by the time it damn near got to the top, those things were about full. It was crazy, man.
Yeah, there's what I'm on about, dude. Where it's straight, the horizon straight before it goes out, and then when it goes out, you get the curvature, you get the convexity.
And it should be looking down at that horizon as well, because if horizon appears at your eye level when you stood on ground, when you're at that height, you should be looking down.
I'm gonna have to dip, guys. I got company. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for having me.
Enjoy. Thanks for coming, man.
Bless man.
Cheers. This is the same altitude when he comes outside. Look how curved that is.
Yeah, big difference.
I mean, I don't look at that space jump and think of it as being any proof or anything, because it's, at the end of the day, it's just a stunt, and I'm not even interested.
Stunt, yeah. But that's the whole point. Why do they need to lie if it's true?
I think it's just for the spectacle, really, because it looks more impressive when you can see the curve, because it makes you think, oh, yeah, he's really high up.
You mean it cements the idea that we live on a sphere in people's minds?
Not really, because we can tell it's fisheye lens.
But also not just that. Coriolis was absent. I mean, even Coriolis was absent. He landed.
But 1 minute, Flat. 1 minute. But when that jump happened, them pictures that they were presenting, that you can clearly see that the fisheye lenses, like you've just said, they were presenting that as you can see the curve of the Earth.
I don't agree with doing that.
Don't agree with what?
I don't agree with really using any of that as like proof of curvature sort of thing.
It's not. If there were curvature, it should easily be found and measured.
Yeah.
Not on that because of it being fisheye lens.
I mean, on ground, like if we live on a ball, you should be able to measure it. Like, there's no need to be looking at stars and planets and watching fish-eyed lens jumps and balloons and stuff. If we lived on a ball, you should be able to measure it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so far, I've seen no measurements or any kind of Earth curve whatsoever.
Yeah, but I mean, even when that came out, did you guys remember? Okay, you weren't around yet, but with us, when Felix started jumping, all the anti-flat earthers, all the globe channels, look at this curve. They were fighting literally for that curve. Then when we pointed out, but look, it's just fish angle lenses and stuff. Then it's like, okay, yeah, no, it's okay. And then we start showing Neil deGrasse Tyson saying he couldn't see it even based on your model at that height. It's curved. Now they try to run away from it. Now they run away from it. They're embarrassed about it. But I mean, we were also arguing, okay, where's the Coriolis? There's no rotation of Earth underneath him. He landed where he jumped. I showed a guy jump out of an airplane without a parachute and land in the net. There was no Coriolis.
Look at Black Swan. Pre-Black Swan, in arguments we were having, horizon with Earth curve. Yeah. And then Black Swan comes out, and now you get ballers saying no one ever claimed horizon with Earth curve.
Yeah, they always did. Always did.
Yeah. See, there's just too much red flags when it comes to the globe.
Red flags, the Red Bull.
If you look at it, are we not able to actually have answers for the things brought up? What are we getting actually from the globe? I just have faith, bro.
Yeah.
And that's what actually gets us, because we don't actually get any evidence for the claims. It's just we must just trust these guys, have faith for that. and you just ignore your senses. That's practically what we get.
I mean, as I said before, I just feel like the flat Earth argument is more or less dismissive about everything in regards to science. It's like because I think you have to learn the science to be able to go against the science, but I don't think flat earthers do that.
Okay, we can do that if you want. Which science would you say disagrees with? Which science shows it to be a globe and disagrees with flat Earth? What experiment?
I'm not really the sort of person to talk to about that, but it's like
that's my point. We actually have done the scientific research.
So let me address this. So you're saying that we're like dismissive to all these things that you don't understand yourself. So how do you know that we're being dismissive, or we haven't looked into it and found out that it's just wrong? If you don't understand these things, how can you come to an opinion?
Because I see both sides of the argument, and flat earthers are very much lacking in reason behind what they claim.
Example.
Would you wait?
Example.
So would you claim what we presented tonight was without reason or logic, or was just hand wave dismissal?
It's just really look at this picture, oh, it's showing this, and that's the extent to where it goes.
No, but we explained to you the reasons we see the way we do tonight. We explained to you why it doesn't work for a globe and why it's only based on flat. So I don't see that as hand wave dismissal or just saying, nah, we actually explaining it to you and can show demonstrations for what we're claiming.
Well, you're just doing small-scale demonstrations to explain large-scale stuff.
Yeah,
there is larger observations like J. Tolan.
Things have to be scaled down. Like I can't do a globe-sized demonstration in my kitchen.
Exactly.
That's why you've got
things have to be scaled down.
Yeah.
But
Models.
The thing is, if you can represent in the macro what's happening in the micro, what's happening in the macro, then it's a valuable observation.
Yeah, I mean, let's just put it this way. Even if we just demonstrating this in the macro scale, can you show us what's demonstrated from the globe side?
I mean, again, I'm not the kind of person to discuss this to, but there are countless other people out there who do understand the science to a greater degree, but when the flat earthers listen to them, they just dismiss what they say and just come up with, frankly, just excuses.
Yeah, but you see, that's the whole issue, though. You're just taking it on faith. You are just trusting the guys that know science, and saying.
I'm not talking about like the scientists. I'm just talking about people
anybody.
Yeah.
You're talking about all Earth YouTube channels. Are you talking about your McToons, your Fight the Flat Earths, your Simon Dans? Are you talking about them type of people?
I mean, what is it about them that you don't like?
I never said I don't like them. They're the ones who go out and troll and make videos and attack and make fun.
Yeah.
I don't go to Simon Dan's channel and tell everybody in his chat they're stupid. I don't go there because I don't believe it. You know, if I don't believe in something, why would I go and watch an hour's worth of waffle about something I don't believe in? But yet they come here and they tell us them things and we're stupid and we're just dumb and we're science deniers and blah, blah, blah. They come here bringing that to us.
I've got 116 people on my channel, subscribers, and I get them coming to me. I get them coming to me, and I'm tiny. My channel's tiny. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Have you watched any of my debates between like McToon or FTFE?
Flatzoy's channel, for instance, right? I stopped commenting on his videos because I
too.
was getting trolled by that many people, that many globe earthers, soccer accounts trolling me. It wasn't even worth making a comment on my friend's channel.
No, I used to
You know
get
what I
into
mean?
debates and flaxes to the point where I was emotional and
So, like,
crying. I
at
stopped. I
At
stopped.
what point? Yeah, at what point do you get attacked like this and then you're not gonna retaliate? You know what I mean? It's like you say, "What's wrong with Toon and Silent?" Well, that I've just told you that is my problem because if they're not there trolling themselves, they're sending people from their channels to troll you. You know what I mean?
But
They're coming
that's why
masses.
that's why I've placed all my videos on hold for review.
Yeah.
Because
Of that,
of
yeah.
this.
I mean,
And look how much cleaner my comment section is now. People like to
Not
comment.
better.
If
Positive
flat,
things.
if flat Earth is so stupid and we're just denying and just making stuff up, and why does everybody keep coming here to tell us we're wrong?
Yeah. If it's not, if it's
What does
not,
it matter to them?
if it's not, yeah, exactly. If it doesn't worry them, if it
One of
doesn't
the
bother
biggest,
them,
one of the biggest eye openers for me when I got into flat Earth was the way we're treated. You know, our people make all these videos like.
if we're not a threat, why do they do it? Why do they come in? Like me, I don't go to ballers because ballers channels they're no threat to me, but they come to us. You know, if flat earthers or flat Earth isn't a threat, why are they so worried? Why attack?
I've put you know, videos of sunspots up where I don't even talk on it. You know what I mean? It's just footage and a bit of music, and I get countless people. You claim this, you claim that. What do you think? You know, I ain't even said out on video. Do you know what I mean? And I'm making all these claims, like, you know, like what is all that about?
I've got a certain troll talking about flat Earth stuff in my Mandela effect videos.
It's just not normal human behavior to carry off like that.
Well,
whether I believe different to them or not, shouldn't make them want to behave like that. It's not normal.
Do yourself a favor and just type Flatsoid on YouTube, and I can guarantee you'll find 10 different troll accounts literally just taking my stuff and making YouTube videos for me constantly. And those are the same guys that do not welcome my channel anymore before trolling because they're so obsessed with me.
It's true.
For why? Why are they so obsessed with me? You understand why?
They can't get to Flats and they can't get to Michael. They come to me or Dave or whoever. They just come everywhere.
Look, even Alan says I had 300 plus trolls from commenting on Flat's channel. There we go.
Yeah, I just spoke to Sean Hawkins in your channel today, Alan. He was taking the piss in there, so I gave him a comment in your. It was in one of your community posts, Alan. From I don't know if it was yesterday or today or whatever, 2 days ago. I don't know. Yeah, he's in there. Sean's in there, dude.
I'll tell you this, Adam. Right, you start a YouTube channel and start talking about flat Earth, and see how you get people coming and trolling you and how they talk to you and what they say to you. It's an eye opener, mate. It's a real eye opener.
Go into a Glober's channel like McToon's, pretend to be a flat earther, give him some flat earth evidence that you think's evidence, and see what happens. See what happens.
You don't even have to do anything. You just say, hi, I'm a flat earther.
Yeah, that's it. Put FE next to your name. That's it. Mind you, no, everybody don't say that one. But yeah, just say you're a flat earther. Let's see what happens.
I'd make a video, Adam, and Sean Hawkins would share it. And then next thing, I've got 300 people in my comments all calling me names. You're stupid. You're this, you're that. What this? Why this? You know, it's like, it's just not normal, man. It really isn't.
Well, I mean, I'm a child abuser just because I'm a flat earther. So.
That as well, yeah. Wife beater, child abuser, run-of-the-mill thug.
There's a lot to...
Uneducated, haven't finished school.
There's a lot of stuff goes off in this topic, you know, this debate, like, and I'm glad you've come to see our side of things as well as watching people like Toon and Simon Dan, because you know, there's two sides to a story, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you know, it at the end of the day, it's the way you see the world, and people should be all right with that. But the problem that I have is when flat earthers think that they can teach us about the facts of this world?
Look, look. There's things that I say we can because they're literally just outright wrong. Look at last night with Professor Dave video. I don't know if you watched last night's stream, where he's trying to debunk Eric Dubay's 200 proofs.
Oh yeah, wow.
Do yourself a favor and just look at it. We only went through like I think the first 12 or 13, and
But like
right through them, he doesn't. It literally says on screen what he says it doesn't say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everybody knows me. I'm more than happy to be outspoken, even against flat earthers. I speak out against Eric Dubay, against Whitsett, all of them. I'm a guy that if I have something to say, I'm going to say it. I'm going to back up my statements. I'm more than happy to debate Simon, and I'm more than happy to debate Dave. But they run away from me. They refuse to, because they will rather debate an idiot like Dave Weiss because he doesn't know anything. You know, he just pushes his own little app, and that's what he pushes. When they actually come to a flat earther that actually has knowledge on the subject, they run away. There's a reason for that. It's because we actually look into this stuff, we research the stuff, we've debated this stuff. It's not like we just wake up one day and have all the knowledge in the world. That's not how it works. We're not claiming to know everything, but
Yeah,
we
I get
do
that,
research the things. We do research the things we chat about. We do have that. We do have evidence to back up our side. So far, out of all the years I have debated flat Earth, I haven't had anything from the globe side other than, trust me, bro.
Yeah.
That's
we
all.
know. For thousands of years, we've known.
That's the biggest one I've got. We've told you this, or you've been
Yeah.
told this many times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that's not schooling somebody, I don't know what it is like. You know?
Yeah. So you know better than all these scientists and all that. You know better than all these people. And yeah, that's what you get.
Appealing to authority.
Yeah. We got told the other night that wasn't appealing to authority, but there you go. He said that's citation. But in your face,
it doesn't actually care. It actually doesn't matter what we present. It always hops down to, oh, you guys are just dumb. It's bigoted. It's a bigoted view that we get from the Globers. No matter what you're going to present, it's just, you're dumb. You're a flat earther. So what you present is just stupid. In the meantime, what you present shows that person totally wrong.
Moomin, I want to see Khan debate McToon. No, I want to see Khan fight McToon. I don't want to see him debate.
I was just saying that. I don't think he would last 5 minutes without getting angry. Michael's going to get so angry with him.
I'd never debate anybody because they wind me up too much, you know. And
yeah, that's it.
It's not for everyone.
I don't want to be getting angry on live streams all the time, you know.
No, I mean, I think I would get a little bit. I mean, my resolve is probably a little bit longer lasting, but I'd still get angry. I wouldn't want to be I've thought about it, and then nah.
Roger Ledwell, thank you very much for your $2 super chat. He says you should play Eddie's last video. I don't know what video that is.
We do enough debating anyway, just through blooming comments, and you know what I mean, being on these shows and that. You don't have to go out and debate.
But thank you, Roger Ledwell, for your super chat. Really appreciate it. If you can tell us what Eddie and where we can get it, then we can play it.
Yeah.
But but that's what I'm saying. I'm confident enough to know if you bring up a subject that I'll probably know the rebuttal to it.
Flats is a good debater. He's got a good way of doing it. I mean, me, I just don't think I'd be. It's not for me that way. That's not how I like to do my truth. But I like to watch that, definitely. I like to watch debates, without a doubt.
Because most of the time, most of the things that come from the globe side, it ends up having to be based on a flat earth, or it has to end up just having faith. And I tell the guys, okay, test me on this. Let's see. We bring up a subject that we can talk about. I mean, I'll show straight away there is nothing from the globe side. There's just nothing. But we are able to demonstrate based on reality, observation, physics, demonstrations, what we claim.
So what's made you come tonight then, Adam? Like there must be some questions going off in your head. You've come here, you've come on camera, which most ballers will not even come on camera.
And I like you. Yeah, I like you.
Never hang around in chat, call your names. You know what I mean? But you've come here, you've come on camera, you've spoke to us, you're polite. You're listening to what we're talking about. So what's brought you here? You must have some questions.
Well, it's just really about this anger towards flat earthers. I mean, yeah, I don't see the extent to how far it goes and how hard it cuts deep. I mean, that's something that you understand way better because you're the ones who gets it all.
Yeah.
But it's the way that everything's presented as though what you say is fact and anything else is not possible. It's just struck out, written out. And it's the fact that in general, flat earthers want to spread their message as far as possible.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, you're just trying to change people's beliefs into yours because you think everything you say is fact.
No, because
everybody's
everybody's responsible for their own discernment, you know.
Yeah.
First time I heard about flat Earth, I was like, hold on a minute, that's stupid, like, and didn't even get a second thought. And then I come across it again and started looking into it, like, but we talk about what we do and we want to spread truth to people, wake people up that they're indoctrinated. Now, that's up to that person then. When we present it, it's up to them. I'm not forcing it on you. I don't care whether you're a baller or a flat earther. I really don't.
No.
You know, but I'd like to think that you go away from here and think, hold on a minute, I'm going to look at some of this, and hopefully that seed's planted in your head and you will look into it and maybe you will find truth. But I'm not going to force it upon you. And I don't think that that's what we do. Some flat earthers might, but I don't think we do that here.
No, I think it's just about getting the truth out, and you do what you want with that truth. Definitely, I think we're led to tell the truth. So hence this. I mean, a lot of us flat earthers, not all, are God-fearing. Do you know what I mean? So it's about the truth for us and about getting that message out, and hopefully through flat earth as well, that people come to Jesus through that as well. You know, it's not just about flat earth. You know what I mean? It's about Jesus ultimately in the end. And biblically, scripturally, it says it's a flat earth.
Hey,
you know?
Yeah. Hey, Gavin B, what's up, man?
I mean, that's one of the things. I'm not religious. I will never be religious. So
that's fine. It's fine. But it's just that for us.
That's one of the things that flat earth does do, though. It makes people religious.
It didn't make me religious, but I come across God and flat earth in the same year. 37 years as a atheist, like, you know, but experiences in my life and bad situations led me to God. At the same time, I were hearing things about flat earth, you know, and when I found, when I come to understand earth was flat, you have to realize it has to be created, you know. So I was finding God, and then I was getting strengthened in that belief in God through finding earth were a created place.
Yeah.
You know,
we're not religious
it's really not a bad thing.
Yeah, and we're not religious either. It's about a relationship with God, not religion.
Raleigh Studios, thank you for $2 for this. Says, please discuss southern radial star trail photos. We did actually touch on it in the beginning. But what exactly does he want us to chat about? Is it about having two celestial poles? Doesn't necessarily make it a globe, though. I mean, you can have two celestial poles on a sphere if you wanted to, on a circle if you wanted to, on a square if you wanted to. Doesn't really matter. It's how the sky moves across the land. $5 special from Richard Ball. Ballers flight atheists because they care so much about the truth, which they say doesn't exist. Yeah, that makes so much sense. That's what we're trying to say. A lot of people come and fight flat Earth, and they say, "Oh, it's nothing. It's just a joke." But they fight tooth and nail about it.
Yeah. Look, very, very much. Craig's channel is literally called "Fight the Flat Earth." He thinks it's a fight.
Yeah.
You know, and like you were saying about McToon and all that, there was somebody in here earlier, but something I can't remember his name. He was saying that they got him banned on YouTube and everything. Like, you just couldn't go anywhere. He was banned and everything. Can't remember his name. Where is he? But somewhere. he was up there further on.
There's a few flat earthers had the jobs
Yeah.
in jeopardy through ball earthers contacting the work and
Yeah,
complaining.
yeah. Have you heard of I don't know if you've heard of Brian Mullen before.
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't.
He was a flat earther, an engineer, and he was doing a thing that he wanted to do, force the line. And what happened was one of the ballers, George Nieton, literally went and doxed him, got his number of his work, and ended up having to arrest the job so much, his boss and stuff, that they had to tell him to either leave the flat earth or he'll get fired because of so much harassment. Because they were saying it's
ridiculous.
You can't be a flat earther and engineer at the same time.
Yeah.
So he had to make a choice to leave his flat earth content behind or lose his job.
Yeah, that's right.
That tells me, look how personal it gets for these people,
Mm-hmm.
just because he's a flat earther.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That's
something that I
insane.
didn't think would come out of this, because it gives us insights into what you get, and it's getting me into this position where maybe I should change the way I behave, when I'm talking to people through text, and because it's easy to get all fired up and say whatever in text.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. When ballers attack me, I can give back as good as I get. You know what I mean? Like, but
Of course.
I only do that in response. I'm not out there. I'm not a troll. I've only got one YouTube account. I'm not going around trolling channels. Do you know what I mean? I've got better things to do.
Mm.
Guys,
Like
I've
you've got backup with about 4 subscribers.
I've placed Banjo's new video in the chat if you guys want to go watch it. I think it's going to be quite interesting. It's about Bob the Science Guy and flights. So I think that'll be quite good. Yeah, because Bob the Science Guy is one of the last people I'll ever take advice on anything, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, what do you know about airplane flight dynamics and things? Do you know anything about that? About flight dynamics?
Well, if you go into detail, I'll probably understand, but just by those words, I don't really know what you're talking about.
Let's for instance say, do you know how a gyroscope works on an airplane?
Roughly, yeah.
Okay, so you'd understand a gyroscope just keeps a rigid reference.
Yeah.
So when they're on the runway, they set it spinning on the runway so it keeps the horizontal reference. So they know where the horizon is. So think about it with geometry. If you're going and you are flying over a sphere and that horizontal is trying to keep the same horizontal right through, and are you flying, let's say, from the north to the south, the gyro would not still be pointing horizontal on a globe. It would be pointing vertical when you get to the equator side, because it would follow where it was set to on the top, wherever you were on the globe. But on the flat Earth, it stays horizontal right through, and that's what we see in reality.
No.
Yeah,
I've let Duper back, but if he starts being a troll, he can go.
Maybe I can draw it. I'm going to do it in paint again.
I understand what you say. Yeah. Yeah, it's something that I just don't really know anything about. So
have you seen alt videos of people asking pilots when they're on airplanes whether Earth's flat?
I think I've seen a video like that.
There's quite a lot.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them. But just in case the other people don't know, but I'm sure that people have seen this on my channel before. There would be an airplane, and it's showing the reference of the gyro, showing horizontal. If it had to follow the geometry of the Earth, if it was curved, the plane would be here. If it had kept that horizontal reference, when it gets here, this would be the pointing, how the gyroscope would be pointing. It would be pointing vertical. And in reality, we never ever see this. It always stays vertical.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but the thing is, if you're using like a gyro, because there'll be conditions where they don't know where they're facing. You know, they're in like thunderclouds, and you need to rely on something like the gyro to understand
your orientation,
where you're pointing exactly. So there's a lot of details where it gets into you know, how to figure out where you're going. Because there's like a channel that I look at where it's like these disasters where you know, there's been a plane crash, and it goes into detail of what's going on and how it happened. And there's a lot of things in that to take into factor, and the gyro, I suspect, would be one of those things where you rely on to figure out where you're pointing exactly, because you can't feel where the velocity is going when you're on the plane.
That's the whole point. Based on the physics of the gyro, because it's already set that rigid spin on the runway, they have to keep it spinning. That's why they got the pendulous vanes, to keep it on that rigid plane. So, and they keep it spinning with compressed air. So as you're flying, it's going to try keep that rigid plane that was set on the runway. So that's why if you tilt the plane this way or this way, that gyro is telling you your X and your Y axis, because you have more than one gyro on a plane. Because you got the one to give you vertical, you got the one to give your horizontal. So you'll have your 3D plane to know how your plane is in orientation, because that's what helps if you're in a storm or at night or whatever you can't see. You need that. But the point is, it's already set that rigid plane when they were on the runway before takeoff. It's like taking, I don't know if you've ever taken a bike tire before and tied a string on it and you spun it, and you try to force it out of that rigid plane that you started spinning. It's difficult. It forces itself back to where it wants to go. And that's exactly what a gyro does. It forces itself back into that rigid plane that it started spinning at.
I mean, I'll have to look about how the gyros are made and why it's made in that way, because you know, you think of it one way, I think of it as another way, but I need to look into that.
Yeah, obviously, like you say, you haven't really looked into the subject yet, sir. And I mean, also, if you have to look onto it another way, also planes, they've got what you call angle of attack. So it means to fly level flight, it has to be angled about 2 to 3 degrees with the nose upwards. So that's what's keeping that level flight with the gyro. So you know how you're going with the horizon. If you angled up at, let's say, 2 to 3 degrees to fly level, when are you ever going to dip your nose to go with the curve? Because eventually your nose will just keep tilting up as you're going over further, because your center of gravity is changing. And because your center of gravity is changing and you have reference to the gyro, eventually your plane will be nosing up and you'll just fly off into space. Well, you can't fly into space because there won't be air, but I'm just saying. Planes alone debunk the globe. That's my point. Just flight dynamics alone.
You're welcome, Dubai. Oh, he's funny.
I know this is a lot to take in, man. Don't worry, it will get to you.
The cog disc will disappear eventually.
But like I said, I appreciate you, man. You're very calm, and that's very, very scarce in this arena.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know why it's like that. But I don't really care for again all hostile and whatever, but I just treat people as they treat me, really.
And I
Yeah.
appreciate that, man.
Exactly. It's the best way to be.
Do you have any other questions or need anything else we need to try and explain if we know the answers to it? What would you say is your biggest red flag about the flat Earth?
It's just really. I'm not really sure, to be honest.
Is it just the whole thing, or is there anything individual?
It's a big pill to swallow, isn't it? You know, and it goes against everything that you've learned all your life. You know what I mean? It's not like we just become flat earthers for laugh. It's just that you hear something that don't make sense, and then when you start picking at that, other things unravel, and then before you know it, there's loads of things that don't make sense.
I mean, as a kid, when you were in primary school and stuff like that, surely when you were taught about Australia being upside down, stuff like that, it made you question things a little bit, surely. How can you be upside down a globe? How can water stick to a ball? Did you never think like that as a kid? Because I did.
Look at that, like they say you can dig through ground to Australia, and you know what I mean. Like, so imagine if you were to dig an hole, right? At what point do you turn round so that you come out right way?
Yeah.
And if you could dig an hole from England all the way through to Australia, you jump down that hole. At what point would you flip round in that hole to come out correct way in Australia?
Instead of digging down, when would you start digging up?
I'd be interested in seeing that.
I know it's silly, like, but you know, like to be a ball earther, you think people are walking opposite way to you on ground, and that to me is crazy.
But it's a good image to think about, because you think about it, you just start digging, you're digging the earth under your feet. When you come out the other side, you should be digging above your head. You know what I mean? When does that happen?
No, well, if you think about it, the deepest hole ever dug is 8 miles down. The super deep polar borehole. They can't go deeper than that, but they're able to make claims to the core of Earth.
They can tell you what's in core supposed planet Saturn and planet Jupiter. You know what I mean? They tell you what's inside stars and that, but yet we haven't even been more than 8 miles down on Earth.
It's something like that makes me, not take things at face value. I think that's not really a good way of doing things, but gravity isn't really that difficult of a concept, though. Because
I agree, it's not difficult, but the thing is, what is gravity? Let's put it this way, because I guarantee you, gravity has never ever even been scientifically established. It's just been forced onto everybody saying it's science. But if you can show me a scientific observation, hypothesis, an experiment for science, then I'll eat my own hat.
The problem with demonstrating gravity is that it's based on mass. So you've got the whole mass of the world, and you're trying to fight against that to create a demonstration to prove that gravity exists.
Exactly.
And
so explain. Explain Cavendish then regarding what you've just said.
Exactly. How does that work? How could the Cavendish, it's not an experiment, but how can that work? Considering what you said, since the bigger mass is underneath it, why is it going towards the other mass?
Is that the one where it's like you've got
balls?
Yeah. But the thing is with that, it's not always replicable. We've got many people trying. I can show you some things with university tutors that say they're so frustrated with it, they can't get it able to replicate it. They did it last time, it worked. Now it doesn't work. They even once of the teachers even sawed off part of it because they were so frustrated. We've got people showing where just out of nowhere it starts going the wrong way, or it starts bouncing around, or whatever. Because it's literally just a demonstration of torsion. It's due to torque. It's got absolutely nothing to do with the force of gravity. What they do is they take two masses, and if you understand anything about torque, if that mass is happening, you got the right-hand rule. The force, where the force direction is, it's going to move perpendicular to it in a certain direction. I think it's the right or the left-hand rule, one of the two. So if the force is going down, it's moving that way, and that's their claim. So you see there's a force pulling it down, so it has to move in that direction towards the mass. But forgetting there is no force, the dense object of itself hanging on that rope is in disequilibrium. So it forces itself to move because it's in imbalanced space. So it has to move. But the Cavendish has shown many times it does either nothing, or it goes the wrong way even, or it goes haywire just for no apparent reason. And Cavendish itself was actually just put there to try and calculate Earth's density. It was hijacked then to say, oh, look, it's measured Earth's gravity's constant, which is just a hijacking.
And if anything, mass repels mass. If two masses are to collide, they repel, don't they?
Yeah.
So
I just want to say, guys, whoever's trying to join, I see a few people. Sorry, the room is full.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I have no idea. It doesn't say. I just keep saying room is full.
Well,
because it looks like there's a few people trying to get in.
Discord also in chat now they're speaking, but he does sometimes.
Discord and Ryan.
He's got problems with his sound as well. He lags.
Yeah,
so
but I'm just not gonna. Yeah, and I also don't want to
someone's still trying to
just interrupt when they are doing this. They are doing now.
Yeah.
What's it got to do with anybody in chat whether this lad's talking anyway?
Yeah, and Ryan talks a lot, extensively sometimes.
You said Ryan, I feel not sure.
You want me to talk?
Yeah, so if you start complaining about it, you shouldn't. You've got a reprieve.
We love you, Ryan.
I'll take over the show.
I'm only joking, dude.
But yeah, I mean, why do we have to disrupt the show? We're having a good conversation.
Exactly.
It's a nice, honest conversation, which is really great. Like I said, this is very rare, guys. We don't usually get this.
It's nice.
Exactly.
It's good.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm only keeping my mouth shut because you guys are doing such a great job of it. I don't have to say anything.
Because in general, it's usually a confrontation. Even if it starts out, usually okay. I mean, so far, Scott Gog, you are mopped, and what's your name, Adam, overqualified Globetard. Yeah, we've all been nice people. But in general, it's not like that. It's not like that.
Yeah. But yeah, mass is not being observed to attract mass. That's a whole issue, a whole point.
I mean, yeah, I think with all what that we've discussed, I can just take down, what we talked about and just like look into it and just see what I find really.
Yeah, which makes sense, yeah. But I mean, if you want to know why we think things fall down, I explain it with the relative density disequilibrium.
Yeah.
Where you have an object and it can only take up its space. So two pieces of matter cannot occupy the same amount of space. So if this object is here in my hand and there's air around it, but it's denser than the air, so it can't support it because air is just moving around freely. So if I let it go, it has to seek equilibrium. So it is in an unbalanced force. So it has to go somewhere. And because it's unbalanced and the air can't support it, it will drop down to seek equilibrium, which would be the next place which would catch would be the ground. And that's why things fall. It's actually, let's put it this way, it's actually explaining general relativity of space-time in not a fourth dimension, but reality.
Because reality exists.
According to general relativity, it's in fourth dimension, where the object is moving in that direction, actually in a seeming to move, because the Earth is actually moving up to meet it in a curved path. That's what general relativity says. But it's trying to warp the air around it to make it seem that the object is moving, but because there's no force in general relativity, that means the object can't move. So the air around it has to be bending for the ground to be moving up to it, and that's what gives an apparent force. Where you look at Newtonian gravity, because it's a force, the object is literally moving to the ground. So that's how we also say Newtonian and general relativity are not compatible with each other. But when I take relative density, I'm able to say you don't need a force to actually move it. It has an unbalanced force because it's out of equilibrium. So in other words, it has its own emergent force.
I mean, the Newtonian explanation for gravity is just really an oversimplification of what's actually going on. But I think Einstein is where it gets a bit funky, because you can't really
Just a little.
because it's going into details that we can't really
observe,
experience. I mean, I'm trying to learn about it myself. I've got like a couple books on it, but
yeah, look,
have you got
to the tensor equations yet?
No.
When you get there, you're going to see it's going to be like a whole. You can look at, how can I simplify it? You think of a block of 9 squares, and then each block is kind of linked to one another. So as soon as the object is moving through those 9 squares, it warps all the 9 squares together, and that's the space around the object bending. That's the simplest way I can put it.
Yeah, it's like
but it's all just mathematical.
Yeah, it's like a 3D grid that it's usually used, to demonstrate, how it all works.
Yeah, I actually tried to explain it with using a cone the other day, where if you take, for instance, time dilation, I'll actually make a short of it and post it on so you can see it. It's going to be easier.
Yeah.
Where I try to explain the warping of space-time for you. It's actually it's a nice, easy way to try and understand it, a visual way. Because it's flattening out a cone. We see it in a cone shape, but in matter of fact, it's baselined as flat, curved flat. Well, a flat circle. Yeah. That's why they say space is flat. It's amazing that even based on general relativity, space has to be flat.
Yeah, I don't understand any of that.
But it makes sense if you understand why they say that.
And on the globe, they're bending space-time or something? On the globe?
Yeah.
You don't really need to understand any on it.
The globe is bended. It's a map that's bended like space-time is bended.
Yeah. You don't really need to know any on it really to understand. There's no science for it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Richard Bull, for your $5 super chat. I really appreciate the support, man. He says ISS needs to travel 17,500 miles per hour in order to stay in orbit, but the moon only needs to travel 2,200 miles per hour to do the same. Makes so much sense. And they can play guitar on the ISS while doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Someone's definitely trying to come in very hectically.
Do you want me to drop out?
But,
so
but maybe they can just write in the chat what they want to come on for. Present why they want to come on, so we know to jump off or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll have to go off soon because I've got work tomorrow.
Well, we only got 10 minutes left of the show anyway. So.
Yeah. Whoever's trying to get in, say it in the chat on YouTube. say
Yeah,
who
so
it
we
is.
know who you are because just now you looch or something.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Well, what do you speak then if it's not English?
Mhm.
So yeah. But I mean, I've been so much around the different arguments through the years. It's like second nature now to know what the hell's going to go on. But that's why I say the people always want to say, "Oh, you're flat earther, you're dumb, you don't know anything." But in the meantime, we've done so much research into the subject. It's literally like become second nature.
So I've got enough PDFs to start a library.
Yeah, I've got quite a large file.
That's a visual I don't want to see, Jono.
No, Jonah. Yeah, Everett trying to join, just go type in the YouTube chat who you are, and then we can check about it, man. Because you only got 10 minutes left of the show, so.
I'll drop out.
So yeah, so you guys say I'm going to have to change the title of the show now.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, Ryan just dropped.
Oh,
thank you, Ryan.
he does that a lot.
He loves to do that.
Yeah,
now he wants us
he
to
did
feel
say he
sorry
was going.
for him.
He did say, "Look, I'll drop out if you want," but yeah.
Let's see who it is. It's Arwen. Oh no, thank you. Remove guest by Arwen. He's not welcome here. That guy.
Okay, Arwen.
He called. Yeah, Ryan. He's got no right here. He calls me a child abuser. Calls my son a faggot, and starts calling everybody names. No, it's okay. He's not welcome.
Right. Okay, but there's a message from Arwen Dupa. He says, I'm banned on your channel, Flatzer. I don't want to talk to you, Flatzer. Just tell Dupa I don't want to see him again, and I don't want to see him in your chat again.
Oh, shame. Who's he to dictate who comes in my chat or not?
Well, listen, I did warn Arwen about Dupa eons ago.
Welcome you, Dupa. We welcome you now.
Yeah, we did tell Arwen about Dupa.
Alaric, remind me I must contact you this week so we can work out a time when you come chat. It'll be a cool chat. I think that's this week. He's a Christian Freemason. He's a Templar, and what do you say? He's a Shriner as well, and an Archmason. So we're gonna be an interesting discussion that. Yeah, see, everybody's saying it was a nice show. I agree. Okay, so we're going to maybe close it off here. Do you guys have any closing statements? Adam, it was good to have you, and you're always welcome, man.
I'm glad to have been of service in some way, even though I can't. The problem I have is, I've got all these ideas in my head, and I can't really bring them out. It gets all garbled, so, the more I talk, the more coherence I get. So, yeah, I've been turbo garbage. But
that's thing, like, because it's not like we've just come across. Most of us have been around for 8-10 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that you come across in that span of time. Like, I've forgot some of the stuff that I've even looked into.
That's
you
right.
Know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah, some of the stuff that you get reminded on for it's like, wow, I haven't spoken about that for ages. But yeah, no, it's been good talking to you, man. You've been polite. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I've been looking at the chats as well, and I'm pleasantly surprised to see that everyone's being cordial as well. So thanks for that.
That's what I said. If we have a cordial discussion,
no reason to attack. The only time you'll see any of us like looking like we're attacking is in response to us being attacked. We don't go out looking for it. They come here and bring it to us, like I said earlier.
I mean, you've gone through it. You've gone through it. I haven't, so I don't know what it's like. But anything that comes my way, I'm just like, yeah, whatever.
You put your son out there and call your son a flat earther and come back to me a month after that.
Do a little experiment. But yeah, it was a pleasure having you here, man. Really.
It was nice to be here. So thanks for that.
Yeah, come back
anytime
again.
you got a question, don't be afraid to ask. We'll do the best we can.
Sure.
Yeah. So guys, that was a good show. Totally opposite of what the
how did you come across Flatzer? Sorry. How did you come across Flatzer? this channel?
Adam is talking to.
Wait, oh, I zoned out then. Sorry. What?
I'm saying, yeah. How did you find out about this channel, Flat Earth channel? Just out of interest.
I mean, I started out because I got to a point where I decided I want to learn science in general. So I thought I'll just look at I'll just look at Flat Earth to give me like a reason to have that motivation to learn the science. So it was Mark Sargent's first that I looked into, and from there it's just like seeing, the like the opposite side of the spectrum, right? It's like FTFE and whatever, and obviously with seeing them, I see Flatzoid as well. So I've been in modern day debates, watching those. So you end up seeing.
Yeah, got you. Yeah. Arwen's into ad hominem now, is he? He likes to insult now, does he?
Yeah, now apparently I am a joke. I'm ashamed to Flat Earth because I don't allow a guy that's 40 years old hitting on little girls and crying because he doesn't want to get a job. I'm ashamed to Flat Earth. Okay. Good to know. Then I'm more than happy not to be part of that Flat Earth. So
you're talking like a club, like it's a cult, Arwen. It's not that. It's not that to us.
All we need is professional help, guys. As simple as that. Okay, so yeah.
Communicate us.
Excommunicate us, Owen. Please. So anyway, guys, thanks all for coming. Really appreciate it. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Thank you for all the super chats and the likes. If you haven't already, do hit the like. It does help to grow the show. You guys rock. Really appreciate you all. And yeah, I'll see you guys all then tomorrow night for another awesome episode. May the pressure be with you.